Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 466 of the DrunkNerds podcast. As always, I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What is up, buddy?
Oh man, games. This week, lots of games in terms of information, also in terms of
Yeah.
gameplay itself. I managed to play 2 games this past week, and on top of that, I've been knee deep inside of Halo Infinite. Pretty good game so far. I'll go into a little bit more detail once we've been going through the what's we've been playing and stuff. But on the other side, it's like I doing pretty well. Work was pretty much work, just hard. It can be hard at times, but at the same time, got to take things one day at a time and just get things going the right way. But other than that, though, yeah, not too much. It's getting closer to the holiday season, so it's like gift ideas, this and that, try to do those little things. But Tyler, how have you been doing?
Doing all right, buddy. A little tired. We are at the time of year now. It's winter, so I am very tired, but could be worse. Could be worse. I
Yeah.
Sorry, I was fixing my audio there real fast, but other than that, I'm doing okay. Um, Clanging and banging as always, getting through like you said, day by day. Had to work today, so a little tired today. Drank a little bit of coffee before we start recording, so hopefully that kicks in here soon. It's yet to kick in, which is not great, but hopefully it kicks in soon. It's gonna kick in after we get done recording, and I'm about to go to bed. That's what's gonna happen. Um, but yeah, other than that, it's hard to complain. Living life, paying bills. Louis doing good. Knock on wood. He's sleeping in the room right now. I got him one of those advent calendars of rawhide bones, and he's
Okay.
just loving it. He's
Oh, I
so
bet he
happy.
is.
Oh, he's fucking a pig and shit. If only they made those for humans. I guess we have like the advent calendars of beer, so I guess they do make those for humans. Um, yeah. So other than that, though, I'm doing okay. Uh, but Gables, we are not here to talk about Christmas or work or advent calendars for dogs. Even though I could probably do a whole hour about. I'm sure you and I we could just do a separate podcast about our dogs.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
and we probably have collectively over the 8.5 years doing this podcast. But we are here to talk about some video games, and I want to talk about them. So we had the Game Awards. We've been talking about it a lot over the
Right.
last couple weeks. Surprisingly, not a lot of leaks, not a lot of rumors really going into it. One thing leaked earlier in the day, which we'll get to, but it wasn't. It didn't. It didn't leak that I was going to be at the Game Awards. It just leaked, and then it just happened to be at the Game Awards. Um, so I thanks to fanbyte.com here. They actually, I love this. They didn't do the thing that everybody else does, where they just do like, there's 20 announcements, so they just make a different article for each announcement.
Right.
They just put
Right.
everything in one article, Gables. All the
Oh
winners,
wow.
all the announcements, all in one article. Speaking of being a pig and shit, I'm also a pig and shit. This makes me so happy when I saw this. I'm like, oh, thank you. Who wrote this article? Imran Khan. Oh, I love you.
Oh, of course.
I'm a big fan of him. Actually, I didn't realize it was him that wrote the article, so that makes me even happier. Uh, so yeah. So we're gonna go to some awards. So there was a pre-show. It was about 3 hours long. I guess. Do we want to talk about overall thoughts on actually the Game Awards, or do we want to talk about um, the announcements and the winners, and then at the end to talk about overall thoughts?
All right, let's go forth and just let's just go and talk about a little bit of stuff in regards to what was covered inside of the show before like actual award stuff in general.
Okay. All right. So starting off here, we had. I'm just gonna run through everything we got here. So Google Play is coming to Android games, to PC. I don't know what that means. Metal Hellslinger: Gods of Metal is a rhythm shooter. Um, that got announced. Some of these honestly I don't even remember. Uh, After multiple years, the Zelda like fox game. So you play as a fox, but you wear
Yes.
a tunic. It's called Tunic. It's coming on March 16th. There was actually a demo for that. I think around E3 on Xbox. They
Yes.
played it. It wasn't. It's pretty good. It's like a really well made like Zelda, like old school Zelda game, but kind of got some Souls like elements to it.
Oh.
We finally got a date for that March 16th. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which was originally a PS3 and 360 game, is coming to PS4 and Switch and PC on March 17th. It's weird. It's not coming to the new consoles, but Annapurna revealed Thirsty Suitors. It's a new game from it's a Falcon Age people. I didn't realize that. It is a dating slash family game that's like kind of got like I believe they're like Indian or something,
Okay.
like from India, and so look kind of interesting. Like you fight your exes. It looks like there, uh, but it's like a dating sim at the same time. It looks like. Homeworld 3 is coming holiday next year. GTFO, which is the people that made the Payday games, that's been so it was announced 2 years ago at the Game Awards
Right.
that it was in early access, and they announced at the Game Awards that it's no longer in early access. So it's now 1.0 as of Thursday. So Steel Rising, which is an alternate history game about the French Revolution, got a trailer, but it's got robots in it, so hence the alternate history part. Um, Tachia, I think is how you say it. That's coming spring 2022. That's that cutie game, but it looks like it's also like just a rip off of Breath of the Wild. I don't know if you remember that one, where like you're sailing in the water. It looks like it's Wind Waker, but like with like Breath of the Wild mechanics. Um,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
okay. Babylon's Fall is coming March 3rd, but it will require a constant internet connection. That's that Platinum game that everybody played the demo and hated it. And it looks like it's
Right.
being made by the Platinum D team. Um, one of the big things that started off the show was Helena, Jesus Christ, Hellblade: Senua's Saga. I got too much shit in my brain right now. The coffee is kicking in. We got a 6 minute gameplay trailer for that, which is the first time we've seen gameplay since it was announced at Game Awards 2019. Not
Is
a
that
fucking clue what's
actual
happening.
gameplay though?
I think it was, yes, in some parts. Playing Hellblade 1, it's very cinematic,
Right.
but it does a good job of not breaking cinematics while playing the game. There's no HUD either in the game, so it's hard to tell in that game. Because normally you like, oh, this is gameplay, but like it's not. This one a little more difficult. Obviously, I'm a huge fan, so you can take that with a grain of
Right.
salt.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if we want to stop here and talk about that, I don't, what the fuck was happening in that thing? We're killing a giant man baby Titan giant thing.
It felt disjointed, honestly, but
I watched it like 4 times. I'm all in on this goddamn thing, but
well,
I
yeah,
have
yeah.
no idea what the motivation in this game is because the first one was about trying to bring your dead husband back to life, and now I don't know what the fuck this game is now, but now I guess we're killing Titans or something. But that was fucking wild. Um, Player Unknown's Battleground is going free to play in January,
Okay.
so that's a thing. It's one of those things I don't want to sit there and say like I didn't know anybody cared about the game because I'm sure that game is probably one of like the 15 biggest games in gaming, um, and we just don't hear about it because it's just got its own pocket of fans.
It's been
Uh,
buried by everything else.
yeah. I mean, there's so many pockets in gaming nowadays. Who knows what's popular anymore or not? Iron Galaxy and Epic Games introduced Rumbleverse as a melee battle royale game. You can buy it early access. It's on like PS5 and PC and stuff like that. Um, so there is like people have been posting some. I haven't watched the gameplay yet on it because all they had was a CG trailer. But I think it's like 40 player combat, but it's like so like you're wrestling,
Right.
but like in an open world battle royale. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Gables. I mean, this is one of those ones I'm like, I think Gables and I would be interested, but I don't. I don't know. I don't. I'm not.
Well,
I'm not
it
the
didn't help
biggest battle
matters
royale
that
guy.
we didn't
So
see what the gameplay actually would have
yeah,
like in general in that regards. It was more or less like a proof of concept and stuff, but yeah,
yeah,
it's hard to be excited about something when you don't actually go and see what the gameplay hook is, other than it's a
yeah,
battle royale.
yeah. And it's weird because like the game is out in early access now, but they
Right.
didn't show any gameplay. Like
Yeah,
normally when
that
we
was
see
weird.
CG trailers, it's because it's a ways off, or like it's not coming. Like it's not out. It's like why are we seeing this? I don't know. It's very weird. I do want to check it out, but it's like I'm not paying $20 for early access game, but I at least want to look at gameplay and then maybe check it out once it comes out if it's free. I don't see myself putting money into this thing though. Destiny 2, The Witch Queen got a trailer, a live action trailer. And that's coming out in what, February?
It comes out February 22nd.
Okay. Yeah. So got some more of that. I mean, did that do anything for you? I know it didn't have any real gameplay or anything though.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, it's like it really wasn't anything too much different than what's already been covered. The only thing is, but this one is just a cinematic trailer. It's like, oh, okay, this is like a account of what's going on, and apparently it's like the first main mission of that expansion. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's another expansion that's coming out and stuff like that. I currently have no desire to play Destiny 2, but
Yeah. Until then.
possibly
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
Possibly
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah. Like so in like 2 weeks.
Oh
It's
God,
crazy to think
I
that we're
hope
like
not.
it's a couple weeks away. Uh, so this was an interesting one. Warhammer Space Marines 2 was announced. That was a decade after the original came out. I don't know if you remember that one, but that was like oddly
Yes.
like one of those like cult classic like a really great 7 out of 10 when that game came out. Like I remember playing it and I game flighted I think, so I didn't have a lot of time to play it. Or no, I don't remember how I played it, but I rented it or something. So I played a decent chunk of it, and it was like a pretty well made like Gears of War style game. I don't know anything about Warhammer. I don't give a shit about Warhammer. But I'm like, this game is pretty good and competent actually. But yeah,
Now,
people
the
were
thing I
pretty pumped
remember
about this
most
one.
about the thing I remember most about that game in general is because it was on PlayStation 3, it was one of the free games in that regards, downloading
Oh, okay.
that and playing that, it was fairly competent, but was what ended up having me delete that game is because it felt like every few moments, like no, every few minutes, I kept hearing the same sound bites, the same different sound bites of the same phrase, like, "Why, Spice Marines, Spice
Hmm.
Marines," like just that turned me off quite a bit. That's exactly what I remember. Every time I think back to the Warhammer game on the PlayStation 3, that's exactly what happens. And so it's like I have that preconceived notion with in regards to that on top of I have no interest in Warhammer in general. So it's like, yeah, none of the announcements from this show really hit home with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Next up, though, we had Dying Light 2. We got a cinematic trailer for that game. That game's coming out in February. It was originally supposed to come out this week, but it was actually supposed to come out the same day Halo got came out. But
Yeah.
then Halo got a release date, and then all of a sudden it got delayed 2 months. So probably not the worst choice in the world. But I feel like that's one of those games where like we didn't hear about it for like 3 years, and everybody thought it was canceled. And then this year we've seen it like 20 times. Um,
Right.
so yeah. And then Final Fantasy 7 remake is coming to PC with Epic Game Store on December 16th, and it's coming out and it's going to include the Integrate, which is it's the full thing. It's got the intermission, which is the expansion, it's DLC, whatever. It's like a 3 4 hour thing, and then also the full Final Fantasy 7 remake. That's been pretty much known since Epic leaked it themselves,
Right.
like last spring. So we knew it was coming. We just knew, but it was only a matter of time. So that finally got a release date for that. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. We got a little more details. That's the expansion for the Monster Hunter Rise game. That game's also coming to PC next month as well. So
That
I
was
think that's
that
coming out next June. I
that
think.
trailer. Dude, I thought that trailer was just really weird, only because for one, it was only like a minute, and two, it's like Sunbreak. It was like a little bit of story elements that was teased, but other than that, it was just a like reconfirmation that yeah, this is the date that's going to be coming forth and releasing. And I'm like, jeez,
Yeah.
for a minute.
Um. Oh, 1 second here. I'm gonna. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. We had a little technical issue there, but yeah. Oh my God, I just did it again. 1 second. Go. All right, third time's a charm, guys. Let's try this again now. So next up, we had Crossfire X, which is Remedy is making this single player game. It's based off of like a really popular game in China. Um, so yeah, that's coming. It's coming February 10th to Xbox only. Um, I the last thing we heard, like this game was announced over a year ago, year and a half ago,
Yep.
and it was supposed to come out in 2021. Then just we heard nothing until Game Awards,
Yep.
and then
Pretty
some
much.
stuff came out that this game has been in like development hell for a long time. So I don't, it just feels like it looks like a generic shooter game, uh, military shooter game. But the only thing I think that's got people interested is the fact that Remedy is making it. Um,
Yeah.
so that's a game I'm definitely interested in playing because I love Remedy, but I'm not. I don't know if it's coming to Game Pass or not. They haven't. No one's. I tried looking it up and no one really knows. Like there's no price yet or anything like that. So I'm curious. Like, oh, this is gonna be a wait and see. Unless it's like Game Pass or like 10, $20, I'm gonna be waiting and see on that one. I don't know if that. I don't know if that did anything for you though, Gables.
No, honestly, it didn't because it didn't really like impress me what it had to offer. I mean, the first reveal kind of left kind of impression to begin with, but with its game boards like trailer, interesting hook about it, then no.
Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Sorry, people. I'm having all kinds of Skype issues tonight, so hopefully it does not continue. Um, but next up, Nightingale is a like fantasy Victorian game. The one of the former heads of BioWare is actually making this. It's like that like steampunk Victorian era game.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. This one did nothing for me. I don't. What about you, Gables?
It's the same thing with me. I mean, I believe that's the game that has a survival sort of like crafting sort of game in that regards.
Yeah, I believe that's yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know what? I can't really get into those type of games, because it's like if it's management of resources and everything else, I to be perfectly honest with you, man, it's like I don't really have too much interest in playing those type of games because it goes through a specific amount like of resources that you got to go through and gather. It goes through that, then goes through like another type of progression stuff that you got to keep an eye on and stuff. I think that's a little bit too much for me to actually go forth and balance in that regards. But yeah, those don't really ring well with me right now.
No. No. Sorry. God. Ah. Sorry, people. I am having all types of issues today with my fucking PC with internet. Wow, my God. Like for people watching this right now on YouTube, I apologize. Um,
Oh yeah, people watching on
like
YouTube.
I'm trying to fix it. Yeah. I'm like as I'm fixing it, it's like going nuts as well. I'm not even
Yeah,
gonna pause it this time because I want people to see what the hell I'm going through every 20 minutes or every 20 seconds. As I fix it, it screws up again. So all right, here we go. Okay, that's good enough. All right, moving on here.
all right.
Um, Among Us is coming to VR. It's coming to PSVR and Quest 2 and then Steam as well. So it's kind of, I mean, it seems like it could be a cool thing, but I mean, if it's, I'm almost tempted to like that'd be one of those games I might like pull out my PSVR to check out because that could be cool, depending on how it goes.
Oh yeah, with
But
Among
that
Us.
didn't. I mean, I know you're not a big Among Us guys, but
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like I'm not really a big Among Us fan, but at the same time, I think it's going to be an interesting experience. From it's an online multiplayer sort of aspect with you and your VR headset and stuff like that, trying to do this stuff, and all of a sudden you just have random people just doing like hand gestures and all this other stuff of shit. It's like,
yeah,
hey, right over here, like, just execute you when you're trying to do some stupid shit. It has potential,
yeah,
I could say that, but man, I kind of wish I could play VR games, but man, motion sickness, dude. I can't handle that.
yeah. That's the only reason I don't like. That's one of the main reasons I don't play mine ever either is because it's like it's a fucking completely hit or miss on whether or not I'm gonna get sick or not. So, but yeah, let's move on here. So everybody got like a real whiplash on this one where um, we saw on the screen Silent Hill Gables. Everybody saw Silent Hill and lost their collective minds because the creator of Silent Hill is making a game called Slitterhead,
Oh
which is
yeah.
based in Japan and like there's like a lady like watering her plants and then her head splits in half uh, and
Oh,
now she's a monster. I I had to rewatch this one later because like it went like I'm like oh shit. I'm not even a Silent Hill guy, but I saw that I'm like oh fuck, we're getting Silent Hill, and then I'm like I'm excited just for the idea of it. I'm like Silent Hill like modern day if done well could be badass, and I was like oh fuck, we're finally gonna get it, and then I see that and I'm like I just completely zoned out. I had to watch it back later.
Oh yeah,
What about you, Gables?
seeing that trailer for like a Splitterhead, and then afterwards like Nightingale and stuff like that. The one word went through my mind while watching both of those trailers back to back. There is so much freaking nightmare fuel out of both of those damn trailers, especially with Splitterhead, because at first they give you that whole thing. Oh, this is by the person that helped like create bits of like Silent Hill, and I thought to myself, God damn it! It's like, oh wait, this is Silent Hill, isn't it? It's like, and I looked at it, and I see the alleyway scene and stuff where the guy runs into this lady, and all of a sudden her head kind of envelops into like a freaking parasitic monster, kind of similar to like God, like another anime or something like that, like a couple of God, like more like 5, 7 years back or something, because it's the same type of concept to where in that show it was more or less like a alien parasite or something like that, kind of like takes over a human host and
Yeah,
stuff, and like it just evolves into like something similar you see in that trailer, right? But
yeah,
it looks like going to be a fairly fascinating like survival horror type of thing. I mean, there were times where I didn't understand whether or not they were going to go for like a horror theme element or just have some sort of like goofy like comedic element as well inside of there, because they were both going through kind of like a dark humor sort of thing. But Splitterhead actually I thought was fairly interesting in terms of that announcement. But I'll tell you what, man, it was kind of disappointing because I thought this damn thing was gonna be Silent Hill. Every hair
yeah,
on the back of my every hair on my body was just pretty much like just it was like it's just your hair is just standing on end, stuff like that.
yeah. Like, oh, this is it.
It's, oh,
This is it.
this is it. It's like, no, it wasn't. And they're like, God bless it.
Yeah, yeah. It was. Yeah, that was funny. It's funny now. Like at the time, it's like fucking really. It was funny. What's crazy is that the lead composer from the original Silent Hill did an interview earlier this year saying that he's going to announce his new game in the summer, and it's the one you've been waiting for. And that
Yeah,
didn't happen. And then this is the game he was working on. This is this is the one that we were all waiting for. So everybody thought that it was he's definitely making Silent Hill. No, it's not. No one was waiting for Splinter Hell or Head, whatever the fuck it's called. I can't even say the words of that goddamn game now. No one
Splitterhead.
knew what it was. We can't wait for something we don't know what it's
So it's
called.
just a couple of
We
people
don't know
that
what it is.
made the Silent Hill games, or a couple of Silent
Yeah,
Hill games, but not more or less Silent Hill itself. Yeah, that's funny.
yeah. Unless he thought he was making, unless he just saw SH and assumed that it meant Silent Hill, not Splinterhead. I don't know. But moving on here. We finally got some gameplay for Suicide Squad. You're like fighting. You got to kill Flash apparently. This one. Um, I was really excited to see some gameplay on this one because I was like, we're gonna finally figure out if this game is a live service game or what it is. And we saw some gameplay, and I still don't know if this game's a live service game. I have no idea. Like, it looks like it could be really fun, and I think I'd really like this game as long as it's not live service. What about you, Gills?
To be perfectly honest, the gameplay of itself looked fine. It looks like one of those. It looked like the type of game where you're playing single player and stuff, and it's like sort of that tag team sort of action and stuff, to where it flashes to one of the four different characters. That's the feel I got from looking at that recent trailer with some bit of the gameplay stuff added in. Did like the concept in regards to having the specific attacks and stuff for each individual members of the Suicide Squad and stuff, but I do not want any type of live service game to like any type of live service features to go through in
No.
this friggin' action game, because that's what killed Marvel's Avengers, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. If they were making that, like, the rumor has always been that, but I'm hoping that after Avengers came out, they're like, you know what? Let's just make this. We'll make it multiplayer like friendly and able to do, but we're not gonna. It's like we're not gonna make this a live
Yeah,
service game. We'll just make this a co-op game with optional co-op.
or better yet,
You
make
know,
it more like, say, Guardians of the
but
Galaxy and less like Avengers. You know,
yeah, yeah, oh
forget
yeah,
the
like
live
which
service.
is like Guardians of the Galaxy is Final Fantasy 7 remake
Yeah,
light. And just copy that. We have a formula. Just do that. We don't need please full of God, because I really want to play this game and I think this game could be really really cool.
yeah. This has
Um,
the cusp of it
just
has a
yeah,
cool
just
concept. There
yeah.
are good character designs. It's like the premise is cool. I mean, hell, you had freaking Deborah
Mm-hmm.
Wilson from Mad TV, like fame coming on the stage inside of her character in the game, going,
Yep.
going and Keely, weird shit. And then like having all of that banter and stuff. I mean, the banter seems fairly entertaining, because it's like the whole thing about the Flash and all this other shit. Plus, it's revealed that Brainiac is behind all the freaking like chaos that's going on inside the major cities and stuff. And the whole aspect. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's go the Super Friends or some, or like the Justice League.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really hope it's just straight on third person action game and stuff to where it's simple to understand, nothing terrible in regards, and hopefully no wide service stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the key. Um, so wait, see, but definitely want to see more. It's coming out next year, apparently. So we'll go from there. Next up, they announced Dune is getting a 4X RTS game called Spice Wars for the PC next year.
That's really surprising to me,
Uh,
only because the last time the Dune was actually out, like God, that was a hell of a long time ago. At least it was sometime in the '90s, I want to say.
well, they said
Uh,
the movie, so
well, yeah, the movie stuff, but I'm more or less talking about the RTS style of games because I
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Probably just some like easy, cheap way to get a movie tie-in or a video game
Oh,
tie-in.
yeah,
So,
probably, maybe.
oh, yeah, no. So Telltale and Deck Nine. This was shocking. Um, they are making an Expanse game that's a prequel to the series. Um, so it was announced Telltale was doing it, but then what was really shocking was the fact that Deck Nine, who just did Life is Strange True Colors and also did Life is Strange Before the Storm, which are my two favorite Life is Strange games, they are making they're helping co-develop that one. So
Right,
I thought that was interesting. So we finally kind of know oh, what the first. I think that's coming next year. So we kind of have an idea of like what probably is the first Telltale game of the new Telltale. But it's really weird that like the what's the one I'm thinking of, the one that they've been promising and making forever,
Walking Dead.
based off the comic. No, the based off the comic. They're supposed to do a sequel series. Oh, fuck. There's like the pig,
The Wolf Among
like the
Us.
detective. Wolf Among Us. Thank you. That they're supposed to be making that one. That's like the big thing they promised. And it's just kind of weird that like what sunk Telltale was like doing all these license-based games. Well, more so just bad management, but also doing 50 million of these license-based games. And now, I mean, they're just doing one. But the nice thing, they have a new engine. Everything was they showed was actual gameplay, which seems kind of cool. Expanse. I watched Expanse. Watched first season. Amazing. You can go back to I guess the final season's starting right now. But I think that's probably why they announced it because the on Thursday the first episode of the final season came out. So, um, but yeah, I mean, it's exciting to see Telltale in the world again. It's even more exciting to me personally that Deck Nine's working on this. So now Expanse has been on my queue forever. So now I just gotta watch it. Um, but speaking of Telltale, former Telltale, so after some of the OG Telltale employees that were let go ways back, started their own studio. I can't remember the name of the studio. It's not in here either, but they're making a Star Trek Next Generation game that's coming to PC and consoles next year. So pretty interesting. We might be seeing a bunch of these Telltale style games making a comeback with everybody branching off of their own here. So I don't know. I
Hmm.
mean, I know they're not really your bad gables, but I'm excited. It's just more so excited about Telltale being back, but also like we after
Right,
Deck Nine and Square Enix put out Life is Strange True Colors and just put it out as a full game. Like there's still chapters, but everything came out all together.
right,
Um, I think we are in a time where that putting shit out, or at least if you're gonna do stuff chapter based, which I don't think you should do, but at least have like a schedule and stick to the schedule and you know don't I don't think you should do it at all, but like make sure it's close together because like we even saw I'm blanking on the name right now. People that made the original Life is Strange. I can't remember the name of that studio now. Wow, it's bothering me. But they made the Tell Me Why games last year. They put out 3 episodes in 2 weeks,
right.
and I played episode one that day, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. I can't wait to go back and play more of it. never went back to it. Even though it was only a week in between, just never went back to it. So I don't know. I think we should stop with that. So but I'm excited anyways. Moving on though, Cuphead, Delicious Last Course DLC got a new trailer and a release date. Gables June
Yes.
30th, in 6 months. So shocking. I've been predicting for years now that this would be at like the last 5 Xbox events and would just be called Cuphead 2. But apparently, it's still gonna be called Delicious Last. Apparently, it's still gonna be technically DLC, even though it's 5 years later.
DLC
But
Island.
yeah, yeah, DLC Island. It's coming out. I mean, I know you. We both. I really like Cuphead. I'm not good at it, nor do I have the patience to get any better at it. I got through like halfway through the game. I know you really enjoy it though, Gables.
Yes.
I mean, what's your thoughts on jumping back in for some more Cuphead?
I honestly am. I am honestly game for that, dude. I mean, looking at various bosses that were showcased throughout that whole unveiling of that trailer, dude, they look so fucking creative. It's so crazy the amount of effort and work that they put inside of each individual boss battles in that game. But so in regards to the dedication of the style and the whole like classic 1930s or 40s style of the black and white cartoons plus animation style, how to get things going throughout. I like the performance that led up to that DLC. Is that's pretty cool. Got trio
Mm,
of singers and stuff doing this whole jazzy type of 20s 30s type of vibe and stuff, and leading into the whole DLC Island reveal. You have the three characters: Cuphead, Mugman, and Miss Chalice and stuff. Those playable characters going through this island, this whole expansive island, all this other shit. So quintessentially, it is sort of like a Cuphead 2, which I'm fairly surprised to just call it Cuphead 2 at this point because it's been so long since the original has came out on PC and
yeah,
consoles respectively. Point it's just one of those things and stuff where it's like, okay, it's weird for what it is, but at the same time, it could very well just be its own standalone game, even though it's called DLC Island. I would humbly expect
yeah,
that to be the case, to where you'd spend a good solid maybe 10 or 15, maybe even $20 for this DLC and stuff and still be the same price as like the full on Cuphead experience.
yeah. I think the original game was like $30, $20, $30.
Yeah,
So yeah,
roughly.
yeah. It's very weird that yeah. I think they'd probably be better off if they just called it
It
Cuphead 2
looks
sales
good.
wise. But
It looks good.
yeah, I think. And we still haven't. Assuming we have E3 next year, there'll be at least another E3 before it comes out to push it some more. So, we had Sonic the Hedgehog. We got this new trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2 that's coming out in April. I started Cuphead 1 and or Cuphead, Jesus. Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, one a while back,
Yeah.
and I just did not really care for it. Gables, what about you?
Well, I've never watched the movie originally, but I know
Okay.
the sequel's coming out. I know there are a bunch of Sonic fans who are absolutely losing their shit for the sequel movie, which it's to be expected. I mean, Sonic has the one of the most largest and like more like notorious fan bases in the entire gaming landscape. But when it comes to reveal that trailer, it looks cool. It has the whole premise of say like some of the elements of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, where it's like, okay, it's Robotnik and Knuckles against Sonic and Tails, But the weirdest thing is like, oh, hey, they're like Sonic's beating both Tails and Knuckles for the first time. I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. It's a movie, whatever. They still, at least they look like the part, and that's some creepy anamorphic type
Yeah,
of thing that's gonna give you a nightmare feel. But
yeah. Talking like Yoda episode
yeah,
one here
Yoda
as a
episode
puppet.
one. But at the same time, the other thing that was Sonic related that was unveiled.
Yep, that's what I was gonna get to next. Yep, go ahead.
Let me just say, this is like Sonic Frontiers. So, opening up with this trailer, Sonic's getting chased by something. It looks like something like some sort of ancient evil type of bullshit, kind of like certain other theme Sonic games. The most interesting part of this whole hook, even leading up to this reveal, there were rumors that were going around that they were potentially, they meaning Sega, was going to go with a open world Sonic game. So trailer drops at the Game Awards. We look at it, and it was fairly weird seeing Sonic the Hedgehog go through and all these different areas and look like they were in-game engine type of things where there was no gameplay. No, but it looks like a bunch of set pieces from different places you would visit from the game are present inside of like the whole game engine sort of graphics in that regards. So they're highly, without saying anything, they're highly bringing home that there's going to be a Sonic the Hedgehog game inside of an open world sort of atmosphere or gameplay environment,
Oh yeah.
which is kind of funny because when that was unveiled, I know that you and I were talking back and forth on Instagram. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck was that trailer? Like, well, apparently open world Sonic games, and we're just going back and forth between just naming different games where it just kind of reminded us, like, for instance, it's like I made the joke of Sonic Infinite because the whole aspect of it is like you insert random other open world games with a Sonic game, and then all of a sudden it starts becoming its own type of entity.
Yeah, I think I call it Sonic of the
Sonic of
Colossus.
the Colossus.
Uh,
Let's see, Sonic Horizons.
Sonic. I said it's Sonic Horizon Zero Dawn. Sonic Zero Dawn. Yeah, dude, it's like the go-to now of like I, even though Breath of the Wild is the seventh best game of 2017, those are just facts. I don't make those. I didn't make that the fact. I just put it on my list, and now it is. But like it's they're the best trailers of all time, and now it's just like everybody's gotta like copy that trailer and even like make it even like on their own like Nintendo games like Pokemon
Right.
Arceus coming out next month, just like making it to like the sound of the piano keying in when like just the way like you like look you go on a cliff and like you're looking off into the horizon, Jill Dawn, and it's like, oh man,
Boy.
this is just fucking Breath of the Wild. And they even do it like they even had the piano kick in at one point. I'm like they're trying to make it sound like Breath of the Wild. It's like,
And
God,
it
it's
just
like
came off as something
I
completely
like,
different.
yeah. I'm just like, you know what? Hey, they're trying. It's something entirely different. I don't know. I feel like there's nothing you can do to like, as we've seen how low this franchise will go or has gone,
Right.
and people are just happy. Like people like celebrate sixes like it's a goddamn 10, which I guess grading on a Sonic scale, 6 is a 10 if you're grading on a curve here.
But let's be honest with
In like
this. But
post Genesis.
right. But let's put it out there and address the elephant in the room. The only reason why people like Sonic 06 is because the Game Grumps did a long ass fucking recurring series of it on
Yeah,
YouTube, like over 100 episodes, which
yeah.
should never. Well,
And they didn't even
they never
finish
even
it.
finished
Yeah,
it.
so
So yeah, you can thank the Grumps for that type of
yeah, they
bullshit.
shouldn't have to. Yeah. So yeah. Like, and then there's like that one on the Wii U that was garbage
Yep.
too. Or
Sonic and
Boom.
Secret Rings
So
and
yeah,
Sonic Boom.
Unleashed. There's the one when you're like, it was Unleashed, the one where you're also a scarecrow. Then there's the one where you go back in time.
Okay, let's see.
And you're like
I'm
in
trying to
like the
remember here.
night.
So it's like you had two games that were on the Wii that were
I
Sonic
think
related. Well, actually three technically, because it's like you had Sonic and the Secret
the
Rings,
Secret
and like
Rings,
you had the Sonic and the
which
Black
wasn't
Knight, and then
awful.
Sonic
Black
Colors was
Knight,
the
yeah, that's the
last
one I was
one.
thinking of. Colors, yeah, but then there's also Unleashed, where you're
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
like you turn into the
So there's
werewolf.
four.
So there's four. Yeah, wow, that's pathetic. And yeah, so hey, you know what? Good luck for them. I hope it works out. I don't want like I'm like we take shots at it, but it's like I don't want it to be bad. I want it to be good. I want people to be like I don't
Now
give a
you
shit
see,
about Sonic,
I'd be fairly
but
interested inside of this gameplay concept of stuff if I saw more or less their vision in action. I saw a lot of set pieces. I saw a lot of types of environments where they are planning to go and have it like fully explorable and this and that. The thing about this game that sort of made the unveiling of it kind of weird and kind of disjointed is because it looked like a hyper realistic sort of like thing when you have Sonic the Blur that's kind of contradicting to like the overall tone of what kind of looks like what should be there. Like for example,
Mm,
if it was unveiled to where it was a fully explorable land and stuff, and it was more like a cell shaded style or more like a Sonic World sort of style, I think people would have been more receptive to that, and especially if in terms of there was gameplay shown, like what was a potential thing that you may go into in that regards. But honestly, it wasn't to the point where Sega felt comfortable in showing any type of gameplay of it. But this definitely does have an interesting idea, concept, and potential. I do want to see what direction is going to be leading into in regards to a fully open world Sonic game. However, there are good ways to go forth and advertise it, and then there's kind of like and then there are not so good ways to go upon it. I feel like this leads a lot more questions and a lot more kind of me too type of reactions in regards to, oh, hey, I have an open world game too. Here, this is what this is, and here's the
yeah,
stereotypical beach per place, and this is stereotypical forest place, and this is like,
yeah. I think the best chance for Sonic to succeed really um, is just just blatantly copy off Breath of the Wild. Not a bad start. It's like 2 generations ago, everybody just blatantly copied off Gears.
yeah,
And it's like this is actually really good. This is like a really good format to copy off of. Like we were actually getting like decent like double A and like movie based tie-in games because they just use that formula. I'm like, oh, okay. So I mean, obviously it's easy. It's easier to fuck this up, but like I don't know. Them trying to be original or do anything um, on their own, it's like it's not gonna work. So like I said, I'm not trying to take shots. I want people to be happy about this game. I want them to enjoy it. Like I was super happy for people when Sonic Mania came out and they loved it. So I hope this comes out and people love it. That'd be great. And they have a new formula that works. Not a new formula for Sonic that works. And if it works and it's awesome, fucking badass. But if not, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be like I'll have something to laugh at on Game Grumps
yeah,
in a
really.
year. So it's gonna be a win-win for me regardless. Um, but moving on here, so we got Forspoken, which is the Square Enix like parkour game where you're a woman from New York that gets sucked into this other world. I seriously think that like um, this is like a Chronicles of Narnia game, and just no one's told us yet. But coming out, we got a release date for it. It's coming out May 24th. It's coming to PC and PS5. Uh, I'm actually like I make that joke, but I'm actually kind of like really looking forward to this game. Oddly enough, which I I don't know. It looks like it could be a lot of fun, and like I'm definitely like I got a renewed interest in Square Enix now after Final Fantasy VII remake, um, and this game looks like it could be pretty good. So I don't know. Uh, I probably it's gonna be one of those where I wait for review, but I'm most definitely gonna be buying this one.
Most
What about
fascinating,
you, Keels?
the most fascinating spoken is definitely the gameplay aspect of it. I really like the elements in terms of how she's able to go forth and use her
Yeah,
powers and how she is effortlessly flowing through specific things of the landscape in order to combat against enemies, solve different puzzles in that regards. I mean, I'm more of a fan of this type of a concept because it's something unique and not really shown upon in regards to like what Square Enix does in some aspects, but I'm of the same mind as you. I want to see some more gameplay. I want to see some reviews and stuff. I want to see if it's going to be worth my time.
yeah, yeah. But I think overall, like from when we first, like it was a very impressive when they first revealed it. Like when we just got like a, when we just got the code name for it, even
Yeah.
to where we are now. Like I'm definitely way more interested than I was before. Um, next off, Monolith. They made the Mordor games. They announced that they are doing a Wonder Woman game. We got like a teaser trailer for it, which just showed Wonder Woman. Apparently, it's going to be using the Nemesis system. It's gonna be open world, and like the Nemesis system is gonna work for bad guys and good guys. So kind of makes sense. You know, it's the Mordor people. Like they created it, so well, you know, it's one of those things where everybody thought they're like after 2014, after how big that game was, everybody thought they're just gonna be copying that, and no one ever did it. And now um, WB owns the like has the what is that
They
copyright? I want to trademark.
own the
What is that?
trademark or the copyright in regards to
Trade
the
yeah.
game mechanic.
Yeah, to the Nemesis system. They had to like redo it like 40 times to finally like make it vague enough that they own the rights to it. So
Oh,
now they own
okay.
the rights to it. It's
It's
happening.
sort of like
But this
similar.
game has been developed for a long
Yeah,
time.
it's much like
Yeah,
with
like Game
some other stuff
Informer.
too.
Yeah, sorry, but yeah, Game Informer I guess has like the next issue is gonna like they have more details in this game, but it's open world and there's gonna be they're using the Nemesis system. Um, I'm I'm interested in it. I just did not like. I really liked the original Mordor game. When it first came out, but I grew really tired of the Nemesis system after a while. Like it's a really cool concept, but like the more I got into it, the more I'm like I just like when you're just trying to play the game and then all of a sudden you have like 19 Nemesis show up and they just fuck your shit up while you're trying to like just play the game. It's like I just want to play the game. I'm trying to get to the story here. And now I fucked around so much. I've created all these nemesis. I can't play the game because they just all show up at the same time.
Right.
So it kind of like it broke my game for myself because I had so many nemesis out there that I couldn't play the game anymore. I don't know, Gables. What was your thoughts on this one?
When the WB logo first popped up on there, I thought it was going to be Justice 3. That's exactly what I thought it was going to be
Hmm.
with that regards. Because of them being finished with Mortal Kombat 11, NetherRealm Studios and stuff, I thought,
Oh,
oh, okay, maybe this is the game they're going to be working on between working on the next Mortal Kombat and this and that. But then I see Monolith Studio. It's like, oh no, okay, it's Monolith. What's it gonna be? And like Wonder Woman, that completely caught me off guard. I mean, if Monolith can make a
yeah.
good Wonder Woman game, I mean, I'd be interested in playing that. That's a superhero I have not gone into depth in regards to playing. In terms of any type of games involving her, honestly. I mean, there really isn't too much other than the Injustice
I don't think there
games.
really has been. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, that's a fair point.
yeah, it was just an unveiled trailer. It's fairly cool. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's definitely. I think Wonder Woman's obviously. Well, I think it's easy to say is more popular than ever. Now it's kind of more in the
Yeah.
mainstream. So it makes sense to do it. I would definitely. I'd be yeah, like I said, I'd be way more interested in it. I think if it was anybody but Monolith on that one in the WB world. Yeah, I totally forgot about my prediction of Injustice 3 being there. I think that was more of a wishful prediction because I just want it. I just want to know it's there. I want to know what's happening because we have no idea. Like, there's so many rumors going on with them and speculation. What's going on with Another Realm? I just want to know what's happening. That's all. Just please tell me if it's happening or not, so I can stop hoping and wishing and stressing about it. Um, now I'm sad again that didn't happen. Then next up, Alan Wake 2, Gables, is coming. Epic Games is the publisher behind it. It's coming out 2023. Alan Wake now looks like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Oh my
Yeah,
lord.
it's as soon as I saw that, I'm like they changed his look, or he just got super realistic looking. I don't know. Maybe both. I don't know. What was your thought reactions when this was
Complete
announced?
surprise because we've gotten we have gotten like the remaster for the original Alan Wake fairly recently. I mean, it wasn't really until the announcement of the remake or so we were hearing maybe rumors of Alan Wake from like Remedy and stuff like that, but a full on sequel, yeah, that caught me off guard because it's like, oh wow, it's
Yeah.
like it is it's gonna be now a full on survival horror game, which that concept alone has me interested
Yes.
because the first
Yes.
game, yes, it was pretty much like an action horror theme type of game, right? I mean, there was some survival elements from what I've watched, not from what I played. Never played through the original, but at the same
Okay.
time, it matches the kind of horror of Alan Wake sounds much more interesting because you were quintessentially trying to escape from things in general in the first game. So it's like last type of experiences that I'm kind of looking forward to when more information gets put on it. But 2023,
Yeah.
2023,
Yeah.
man, that's gonna be. We're probably gonna see something in regards to E3, maybe next summer. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fairly exciting that the sequel to Alan Wake, a game that's been out since like 2009, is finally getting a sequel, finally getting much
Yeah.
respect in that regard. So let's hope this game is every bit as good as we hope it can be.
True. Yeah, I mean, like there was an Alan Wake 2 a long time ago. It got canceled. Then Xbox owned the rights to the IP until I think just a couple of years ago, where Remedy got the rights back. I think they bought the rights, or Xbox gave them the rights, or something. They probably have some like deal worked out on that one. But yeah, it's happy. It's awesome that they're finally getting be able to make it again. We actually talked about this earlier this year because this was a rumor back in like March or April of this year. So it's awesome. We have some confirmation on it. I'm definitely the fact, like you said, the fact that it's gonna be survival horror has me even more excited because yeah, it's more of a, like the original Alan Wake was more of an action game than it was. I mean, there's some scary elements to it, but it's more action than anything. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to uh, jump back into that world and play some more of it. I love Remedy games,
Right.
so I'm really excited. Now I just gotta like I need to play the I own the DLC for Control, the Alan Wake DLC that's in Control, so I just need to play that now. Um, but speaking of things that was leaked earlier this year, and then actually end up the title leaked earlier this day, and the day on Thursday, we now know that there was a rumor a while ago that we talked about Quantum Dreams, the people of Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, are making a Star Wars game. Now the title leaked that
Hmm.
it's Star Wars Eclipse. It's going to take place during during like the High Republic era, which I don't really fully understand like the timeline of all that, but I know it's like prequel era, maybe before the prequels. The High Republic era is. Star Wars nerds, please don't attack me. I don't pay attention to that. I don't go that deep into the Star Wars lore. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, cool, I guess. I don't know. Like, we don't know what the game is. We don't like. Is it gonna be a Quantum Dream game? Is it gonna be an action game? Are you gonna play as a bunch of different characters? Like, I don't know. We don't know what the fuck this. We just know it's a Star Wars game, but we don't know what this game is. So, what about you, Gables?
It was a pretty trailer.
Yeah,
That's a good extent, man.
yeah,
It's like Star Wars. Star Wars is only a particular experiences I do like. This is definitely interesting. It shows some tidbits of like prequel sort of thing, even have insofar as as like Yoda being like the High Master in terms of the Council in that regards. So it's definitely going to settle on the lines of that time frame. But at the same point and stuff, no gameplay shown, nothing else that suggests that it's going to even remotely be close to having some form of release date sometime down the line. But this is just a game announcement here for Star Wars Eclipse, and you know what? Other than like the graphics and everything else looking cool, the concept of it looking cool, it was just a glorified just ad. I felt like.
yeah, yeah. So wait and see. I mean, it's probably years away, so we'll have to wait and see what this game's gonna be, or for more leaks. And then the one more thing was that the Unreal Engine 5 demo, which was already supposed to come out on Friday, was actually out now. So came out Thursday night. It's only on PS5 and Xbox Series X, and I guess it's on S as well. Um, I actually checked out. I don't really care about Matrix at all. I'm not a Matrix guy, but I checked it out just out of curiosity. It's very pretty to look at. It's a really cool concept for what Engine 5 can be. So I don't know. I mean, that was one more thing. Gables, what was your
No
thoughts on that
interest
one?
whatsoever. I mean, I like the original Matrix. It's a
Yeah,
great movie in that regards, but I thought that was a terrible one more thing. Because at that same time, it's like, yeah, it's cool that that experience did like release on the systems in order for everybody to go forth and try out, but this didn't have any type of regards to being on that damn show. Especially when they had like the
yeah.
pre-record things with like a Keanu Reeves and like the other actress from the yeah,
Catherine
Catherine.
something. I think I remember
I
it.
think her name was Catherine or something like that, just advertising the next Matrix movie. It's like I don't give a shit in regards to a lot of the movie stuff
Yeah,
that's advertised in this games show that's supposed to be for video games and the awards thereof. I don't give a shit about a Matrix movie that's going to cut into someone's commencement speech for Game of the Year. So it's like,
yeah. I imagine though this is Epic and Matrix behind it, so they probably got a pretty big
oh
check for
yeah,
doing this.
probably.
I mean, they got paid. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm fine with it being in there, but I was definitely like, that was your one more thing. Like the one more things have been pretty weak. I feel like the last few years, At least 20. I don't remember what 2020 was, but 2019 we had Fast and Furious Crossroads, which was just exciting. That like, I mean, it was like Vin Diesel showing up at the awards was probably like the biggest mainstream thing that happened at the show.
Yep.
But it was definitely like as a video game announcement, it was the weakest one because the game looked bad at the time, and it shockingly turned out to be very bad. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was definitely, it was like you said, it was a weak one more thing, but overall I'm fine with it being there. But yeah, like I feel like pretty much any other thing that was shown would have been better off. But let's move on here because we're like an hour in. Let's move into some of the winners here. We can give our overall thoughts. So let me just start from the bottom. I'll work my way up on some of these. We're gonna skip the esports shit. Most anticipated game was Elden Ring, so I think we both predicted that. So no real surprise there. Best debut game, Kena Bridge of Spirits won, which was my pick. But I mean, to be fair, that's the one I played of all of them. And I'm not really too surprised by that one. So I don't know if there's anything you want to add on that one, but
No.
that one. Okay. Best multiplayer, It Takes Two. That was both of our picks, and it won. And I feel like it beat out a lot of other games like Knockout City, Back for Blood, Monster Hunter Rise, which
There's no question that It Takes Two was the best
that.
multiplayer experience throughout the year, in my honest opinion.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially what they had here. Best sports and racing game for Forza Horizon 5. I mean, that was a one-man race. Yep. I mean, no disrespect to Riders Republic, FIFA. Well, a little bit of disrespect to FIFA, but that deserved a win. Best family game, It Takes Two. Not a family game. Gables, like I said, I'm happy it won. Good for them. Not a family game.
That was such a weird
we literally
sucked, it's the only game that was not Nintendo that was nominated.
Yeah. We sucked the eyeballs out of a vacuum cleaner, and we ripped Cutie the elephant into pieces to make our daughter cry.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense why it's a family game. I mean, yeah, what do you tell your children or something of killing a vacuum cleaner and tearing apart a fucking stuffed animal to make your daughter just fucking cry? It's like, oh yeah, the story element spoilers, but still, there is some dark shit inside of that. It Takes Two.
And just the story alone is it looks like a cute family game. It is not.
No,
it is not, including the story. Best fighting game, you called it Guilty Gear Strive. I feel like that was like when I was listening to people do predictions, like everybody was like clear cut. Guilty Gear is the winner.
Well, yeah, it's clear cut Guilty Gear because that was pretty much one of the most substantial fighting game releases of that year for this year and stuff. There really wasn't too many new games released for the fighting game genre this year that actually more or less held a candle to what they were offering at that point in time. And it's still, honestly, it's still ongoing. There's still characters being announced and like released and stuff for it, but that game is being heavily covered in regards to PlayStation and stuff for their storefronts, for whatever type of like info videos and stuff like that they unload on their official channels for characters and this and that. It's like, yeah, it's clear cut that's the game of the year. That's like the fighting game of the year for that.
Yeah, for sure. But moving on here. So best action adventure game, Metroid Dread won. So,
well, hey,
no real complaint there. Hey. I feel like, I mean, there was 5. There's Guardians of the Galaxy, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil Village. I think 5 very deserving games, and I mean, I can't really complain about either of those winning. And glad to see that. I think that was Nintendo's only reward of the night. So, I mean, Nintendo's only contribution to the night, actually.
Besides ads.
But yeah, besides the one like 60-minute commercial or 60-second commercial.
One for the indie, one for like 2020. Actually, no, there was like the indie thing that they had going right there, and then it's like the releases of 2021, and then like the future for 2022. That's this. Yeah, those quick ads.
Yeah, it was very weird. Best action game, Returnal. Okay. Yeah. Like no real complaint there. I mean, one another thing was just 5 really deserving games, and then one won it. Moving on up here to best indie game, Kena Bridge of Spirits won again. No really complaint there. I was kind of shocked at one over like Loop Hero and Inscription. Not saying that those games are better. I haven't played them. I don't know, but those 2 games are just more popular. My personal pick was Death's Door. 12 Minutes was also there, but I'm not really surprised that didn't win. But I mean, I was shocked, but I'm happy for
I
that game to
was
win.
actually more so surprised that that was an indie game, Kina.
Yeah, well, because it's an indie studio, it's just being published by PlayStation.
Right.
So I think that's where that comes in. Games for Impact, Life is Strange Colors won. I was really happy about that one. Best performance, Lady D, Maggie
No
Robinson
surprise.
won. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the more exciting of the options, but I was actually rooting for Erica Mori, who plays Alex Chen from Life is Strange. I still think she was better than I played every game that was in here with Deathloop was in there twice, Far Cry 6, True Colors, Resident Evil Village. I thought she was the best, but yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining. Like we talked about last week, she's probably the most popular outside of obviously uh, God, I can't say his name, Giancarlo Esposito, who obviously the bad guy from Far
Hmm.
Cry 6. So yeah, but I mean, she was the meme for the first half of the year. So, moving on here. So, best score in music: Near Replicant version 1.22474487139. I can't complain about it because that music is actually
Right.
fantastic. The game's not good, but the music is phenomenal. And I thought, Guardians of the Galaxy was really good, but I'm like, it sounds, it's a licensed music. Artful Escape's music is
All
really
right.
good. Deathless music is pretty good. Cyberpunk 2077 really got good music, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like that game, but I thought it's a fair one. I don't know if you got anything to
Nah,
add
nah.
on that one. I know you were rooting
Yeah, I
for
was
Guardians.
rooting for Guardians and stuff like that because the licensed music and stuff kind of fit well with the whole set piece of that game and
Oh
the
yeah,
whole elements of the story modes and stuff. But a near replicate. Now that I think about it, yeah, it's not too surprising that the orchestral stuff and like the musical tracks of that game got high nods in that regards. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah. Best art direction was Deathloop. That was a big hump for me. I think from a lot of people. When you got Kena, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, and Artful Escape in there, I feel like you can argue that Kena, Psychonauts 2, and Artful Escape do something that we don't see from anybody else. Um, like those have very like distinct art styles, and like Deathloop is the distinct art style, but it's the arcane art
Right.
style. Um, so I don't know. It's definitely a unique art style, but we've seen it before, and I feel like Kina and then Psychonauts 2 and Artful Escape did something we don't see from anyone else, or haven't seen before. Best narrative: Guardians of the Galaxy. Hard to complain. Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange, and Psychonauts 2 in there. I would personally go with It Takes Two, or not It Takes Two, Life is Strange. I don't think It Takes Two story is that great, honestly. But
Right.
I can see why some people might like it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with this one. Guardians. I don't have any complaint. I really, like I said, I don't have a complaint about really any of these, except for like Deathloop one in art direction. But I mean, what was your thoughts on that one winning?
You know what? I thought it was all right. In terms of the whole story, art direction, or whatever the hell and stuff like that. I thought the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff was pretty strong with that regard, so it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely like one of the two or three best stories of the year. So it's hard to complain about that one. Best game direction. This one I didn't understand either. Deathloop, actually, I didn't understand that one. Because I don't know.
I
It
don't
didn't like.
understand the
It
concept
doesn't
of
feel
it.
like I feel like. Yeah, I understand like usually the idea of like game direction is like it's very noticeable and like distinct style. Like when Kojima Kojima's won it, God of War won it 2018. Like
Right.
there was a very distinct style in the way it was shot and made. Um, and I don't feel like Deathloop. I don't know. I mean, the loop stuff's kind of cool, but I don't think that's like I don't consider that part of like the the direction. I mean, I guess it is, but I don't know. It's a loop game. I don't know. I feel like, but when you look at like It Takes Two and Psychonauts 2 and Returnal, those have very distinct styles. I really It Takes Two and Psychonauts 2. I thought Psychonauts 2 should have won it, or It Takes Two. Ratchet and Clank, I didn't really think should win it, but I really thought one of those two should win it. Like I love Deathloop. It's gonna be on my spoiler, probably gonna be on my top 10. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of shocked by that one. And then finally, the most shocking thing is Game of the Year. It Takes Two
Yeah.
wins it. We got a nice speech from Joseph Ferris at the end. Really great way to end it. You messaged me like, holy shit, It Takes Two won, and my jaw dropped when that won it. But it was like a happy like, holy shit, Like that's awesome. So what was your thoughts, Caleb,
Honestly,
if you
I'm
don't mind?
happy that Joseph was able to go forth and get that Game of the Year type of thing for the Game Awards and stuff. I mean, hell, it's well deserved. That game is fairly well made and stuff. Great multiplayer experience. I really wish they would have given him some more time for him to speak, because
Yeah,
hearing him speak and talk and stuff felt like more like they were trying to hush what he could potentially try to dig himself in deeper for some of the censorship. But
yeah.
at this, but at the same time, it's like, let the dude speak. He won. His company helped win the game of the year.
Haze
You
Light.
know,
Yeah,
so he deserves a lot of the praise and the recognition for that stuff. Like hell,
yeah,
I thought it was really fitting. Him going up there. It's like, yeah, when I get up here, it's like, yeah, I started with the whole fucking the Oscars thing, and all of a sudden I just started referencing that, and just I did all the various, oh god, like the various stuff. It's like, no, who gives a shit about the Oscars and all this other stuff? It's I liked like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Me too. I loved it. He's definitely a unique character that we've seen up there. Like we always see a lot of thank yous, and like I'm not trying to like knocking them, but it's like we go from like a Doug Bowser who literally just looked at the dictionary, you typed thesaurus.com and read what the definition of an action
Yep.
adventure game is as his speech, for accepting for Metroid Dread, where that was the most boring speech in the world. To then we got like somebody like Joseph Ferris going up there and fucking having like this very like real reaction, where he's just like he's excited. He's like, holy shit, I'm here. He's like, didn't I don't think he probably thought he was gonna win. Uh, you saw at one point where he lost, and it showed all the nominees, and he lost, and he pointed at the camera and he did a fist thing,
I
like
love
like we're
that.
not, which was awesome earlier in the night, and then that happened. So that was pretty awesome. So yeah, I mean, he just seems like a character, like but like just like he's a unique figure in the gaming world.
Exactly.
I think we need to cherish this
Not
guy
just that, we need to
because
showcase more in regards to like people like Joseph, and also in terms of like the developers in general for these games, because that's the main reason why the Game
yeah,
Awards are supposed to be here and showcase is the hard work of the people that have created the games to make these fantastic experiences for everyone to enjoy in that regards. And I felt like in the case of Joseph,
yeah,
it's like there was something that him and his team had worked for the past couple of years after going through the way out and stuff, and I felt like it was a big disrespect thing towards him that he didn't get that adequate amount of time and stuff in order to give his speech, in that regard. So it's like, you think that after all that type of stuff, if you're going to go with Game of the Year stuff, you would think less about how much a company's going through and paying you to go forth with the stupid advertisement towards the end of that damn thing, in regards to actually focus more upon the people that you're supposed to be supporting to begin with, which is the game creators and the game developers, and that regards. And so I'm fairly happy that It Takes Two won the Game of the Year stuff for the Game Awards. I'm very happy for Joe's stuff like that, because his team created a fantastic experience, fantastic game stuff. I hope they piggyback off of this and create something else that's crazy and it's memorable and everything else like that. But yeah, yeah, I'm fairly happy about the decision.
yeah. Yeah, I'm extremely happy with it. I mean, we can kind of cut that over into overall thoughts on the show. You know, like I'm with you on that. Where this event was just over 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
If you include the pre-show, 3 hours for the main show, half an hour for the pre-show. Um, and this year was just felt like the most like egregious of like like people complain about so many ads being there, not enough stuff in the awards, and too much on the announcements. And I'm like it's like I've always been a defender of it, like where the ads have to be there. Like they're not doing the show out of the generosity of their heart. They're not putting all this work in and putting money into this. Like they got to make money. They got to get paid. They got to pay the people. They got to pay for the arena. They got to pay for. And also they got to make some money. I'm pretty sure. I doubt they're not doing this for peanuts. They're probably making a decent chunk of money. I'm sure Jeff Keighley made a good chunk of money for doing this, and he deserves it. And I'd rather that be the case than have this show than not have the show at all, because it's legitimately one of my favorite events of the year. There's E3, there's Extra Life, there's there's sports, and then there's fucking the Game Awards. Like that, those are like that's in there. Like that's my That's the whole, like the holy trinity of like video game events. This is it for me. Those three. So yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. Like I'm good with all that. I understand like sometimes the award like stuff got to take backseat, but this year was like the most egregious. Where I really felt like that. Part of the problem is that the first 40 minutes was just like banger after banger of fucking like really cool like big announcements. Some not always cool, but some like we had like we had like in the first like 40 minutes we had like Hellblade, we had Star Wars, we had all these big huge announcements that like in the first chunk, and then like there was a little bit of there's some lull, which was always the case. You're gonna have some lulls in there, and then you're gonna have some ads, which is fine, commercials, whatever. And it's like it's like that's what I look at too. Is like there's commercial breaks. That's what these are. Like, all right, cool. All right, here's a break. There's a Fortnite ad. I'm gonna let my dog out here. It's like I just feel like this year was like the one that was I don't maybe it's not, but to me like if I look back, maybe it's not as egregious as I think. But like this year, like I've always been like I've always had a lot of fun with them and like come out and I defend them usually and like point out like I'm not like pointing out its flaws, but like but still defending it overall. This year's harder to do it. We're like, and I feel like I don't know. It's like it's weird because like after it was over, I was like I didn't really like that too much. But like as I grew more time,
Right.
like my feelings for it have gone up a little bit. Like I enjoy it more than like looking back upon it. But it's like there was just I felt like you were saying, Gables, there was it seemed like there was a lot more commercials, or maybe we can't tell what are commercials and what are ads at this point in some of these. But like, I feel like, yeah, like you said, like there's a one point where the Deathloop won, and he went up there to give the acceptance speech, and he's like, "Can I loop my 30 seconds for the speech so I can keep talking?" And it's like that was something they talked about. Like they had 30 seconds for a speech.
That's ridiculous.
Like you only had five or like out of all these there was 30 awards. Obviously, like half of them are esports and content creator related, or like about 10 to 12 of them are. So I understand like not even like the Grammys or Oscars, none of those. Like if someone's won a bunch of awards, they only like there might be 50 awards, but they might only have like 20 that actually get shown on the main show. And I understand those don't have, um, they don't have fucking they're not showing like big announcements at these things. That's different, and there's celebrities there. But like, there's like I feel like you can do like I think there's only 4 or 5 that actually got one up on the stage, and like they actually read off the announcement, read off all the nominees and gave them a chance to speech. But then you only give them 30 seconds. Like give them like we like the whole point of this we talk about like and Jeff Keighley talks about and like the whole point is like focus on like celebrate the year of gaming and celebrate the future of gaming. And it's like we did a really good job of like showing off and celebrating the future to a certain extent, but we didn't do a very good job of like celebrating these developers. Like the big thing is like it kind of goes against the like everybody always talks about like Greg Miller's speech, and I'm a kind of funny fan, so take it for what you will. But like this is the reason why I became a kind of funny fan was because of Greg's speech in like 2015, where he did this whole thing about like his whole speech was like he thanked some anonymous like developer that he saw in the credits for I can't remember what it was. I think it was like Uncharted 4 or something like that year. No, it wasn't Uncharted 4. I can't remember what it was. It was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And he thanked like a random name out of there. I can't remember the name of the developer. And he was like, we're here, like I'm here because of you, and like we're here to like we should be celebrating you, and this is what this night's for. And it's like it felt like it just really went in the face of that, where it's like we didn't really celebrate them at all.
No,
Like
absolutely
very or
not.
very little. Where it's like we didn't like, and we didn't even give time for the people in the speeches to thank these people. I'm not saying they need to go down the whole entire credits, but like thank people, whatever. It's like I don't know. I just it felt off. It did like I understand it's a business. You got to do ads. You got to do commercials. People got to get paid. You got to pay for shit. Also, people are more. If we didn't have the big announcements, people want to watch. We have the Dice Awards. We have the BAFTAs. Those awards exist, and they solely stick to the awards, and we don't watch them. We don't talk. We barely talk about them after that happened. So and the Joystick Awards is another one. So because they don't have those things, so we know we can't sit there. Oh, just do a war show. Like we know people do it, and we don't pay attention to it. Like so we know you got to have the yin with yang. But I feel like there's a better way, and I really feel like that third hour dragged. Um, Like we didn't
It
talk
did
about like
drag.
The Halo TV series was in there. There's some interesting stuff that happened at the end, but like I really felt like that, yeah, like that third hour, and then we got to that one more thing, and it's like the Matrix thing. And I understand like when they sign these deals, like usually like a deal in place is like it's gonna be like they get down to nitty gritty where it's gonna be in the show. Like is it gonna be at the beginning? Is it gonna be like what's we want to be the one more thing type of thing? And maybe that was the case. Maybe that's why Fast and Furious Crossroads was the one more thing because they paid the most money or they made it that was a part of the deal. And that's probably the deal with this one because I'm sure Epic and gave them a huge check to do it. But I don't know. I just overall it's still like I think it's still I had a good time with it. Like, but I really felt like there was a huge chunks of it, or more so than ever. I was just staring at my phone, looking at Twitter than I was watching the TV because it was just like I either didn't care about the announcement or there was a lot of ads or there was just nothing happening. Like most of the awards they would like give out these awards in rapid fire and they wouldn't even name off the nominees. It's like name off the nominees, fuck like do like a go to a video package at least and show off like here are the nominees for best art direction like Deathloop and show a 10-second clip of why this is a nomination for best art direction. And then and for each of the 5 games nominated, put a 60-second package together of like showing me these games and showing me like why these games are, and like it also would be a good selling piece for people who should buy these games. I don't know. I just it could have been done better. It like I just like I said, I understand the bad comes with the good for this show to happen, and I'd rather have it than not have it. But yeah, I just feel like this was one of the more disappointing ones in years. What about you, Gables?
This was worse than last year. And I say
Oh
this
yeah,
in regards to a couple of different things. One obvious thing is yes, the lack of respect in regards to game developers and also in terms of like the people that went through and won the awards in general. We just got through talking about Joseph in terms of It Takes Two and his whole crew and stuff, barely even have enough time. You also gave a good example in regards to the guy accepting the award and stuff for Deathloop. I had forgotten his name in that regards, but that's the thing.
yeah.
That's the thing. You give him 30 seconds, people.
We didn't get a chance to learn his name.
I didn't even get a chance to learn his name for God's sakes. It's 30 seconds. He was there. He was out, and it's like, okay, he was just some random. To anybody watching this that has no experience in regards to knowing the ins and outs of the gaming industry or knows that like they're not gonna give a shit who this guy is and stuff. All they know is like he helped create the game that they played, and stuff that was good and blah blah blah. So this is the guy that helped create a Deathloop, but yeah, they don't know the name, they don't know the people that go and sacrificed a lot in terms of making this experience the way they can go forth and enjoy it. Another reason why I felt like this was not only worse than last year, but probably one of the worst in regards to the Game Awards, it felt entirely lacking of identity. Now, the identity from the offset was supposed to aim for celebrating game developers, celebrating the people that create games for gamers. This is like a general award show. Jeff Keighley, case in point, he wanted to create a reward show that was aimed towards gamers. He wanted to get away from the shit show that was from Spike TV and all that other shit that happened in that
Yeah.
regards. And it feels like through the process of him reintroducing and having his own game all the way up until now to those days. Why? Because what made those shows horrible to begin with and what gamers were cringing about is because of all the implementation of paying through with their advertising, just having their slots in regards to, oh, let's advertise for this company or that company or this game or that, which we understand is going to be a common evil that's going to have to be endured in regards to some of these shows. But yet, when you
Yeah.
have a whole bunch of corporate ads in regards to different movies, different types of company stuff that just put trailers on here and just don't really go into detail, and that's another case in point too. It's like out of the three major developers, the three major companies, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, it's like they had maybe small little tidbits and stuff, but none of them really was inside of that initial show, just showcasing like, okay, this
Yeah,
is
but that's not That's not Jeff Keighley's fault. That's just they didn't have anything there.
I understand that's like a subsidiary type of things. But what I'm trying to get to in regards to the whole Jeff Keighley stuff, it's like it feels like from what his initial vision was for this whole thing is supposed to be recognizing these people that have created video games in that regards. I mean, him a number of years ago celebrating Hideo Kojima, there is all this rigmarole in regards to the whole Konami bullshit, and then it's like was going through and celebrating some of that stuff. It felt disjointed when you have multiple ads, say of like Raid Shadow Legends, but you have Goldblum, or it's like you had the whole Matrix stuff, with Keanu Reeves and like his co-star in that regards towards the end of the thing, which is it felt like a wet fart in my honest opinion of like a of an already boring ass last hour to begin with. And that's the thing, you made a good point of reference in this show to begin with. When it started, the first initial hour, yeah, there was some fairly exciting stuff. We saw a trailer for Hellblade 2. We saw in regards to that and like a couple other announcements in that span, that 40 minutes. Hell, the best part of the whole Game Awards thing for me was during the pre-show because there was two things I saw that was fairly exciting. One of them was game, an indie game, mind you, that hardly had any type of show stuff with Have a Nice Death, which that one looked fairly cool for like an indie game and it had some interesting gameplay concepts. You play as the Grim Reaper, do this. That. I would have loved to seen that in the main show because that's something unique, that's something different, and that's something that that indie team would have had a lot of boost, towards that, a lot of eyes during that main show instead of like waiting like a dead like freaking half an hour before the damn show began and stuff where not a lot of people are going to be watching it besides maybe the most hardcore. And of course the second thing I liked during that whole like pre-show was the whole remaster, no, not remaster, but the whole porting of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, a game that released the tail end of the 360 and PS3 generation to like Switch, PS4, and Xbox One in that regards. But that's also a case in point where it's like, hey, this is something that's aimed towards hardcore gamers as well. The that subsidiary, that type of niche and stuff, that could have been a fun announcement to have in the main show in regards to that, like freaking god crazy ass like that whole Game Pass sort of shit that went on with that freaking rap and that whole thing that went cringe for so long.
Oh, I love that with Gata.
Oh,
Oh,
with
fuck
Gata
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Little Dicky. I
Little
I
Dicky,
had
Gata,
a
and stuff like
blast. That
that.
was awesome. Then they had like Pete Hines show up with this commercial giving out codes.
Right. That
So
that type, with the Pete Hines give out the codes that were so super fucking quick and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty fun.
let them know you're at it.
Yeah.
Let them know
Yeah,
you're
that
hiring.
stuff is fine, in that regards. And it's like the whole concept of like, the whole developers, the whole like people recognizing the game and stuff. I mean, that sort of like it went back to most extent this year felt like than like in years past and more so focused upon more corporate stuff, more this and that, more movie advertisements, more loosely tied to games type of stuff. Like, the sequel to the Sonic movie. I mean, I understand Sonic the Hedgehog. You're going to show a trailer, you're going to have a whole bunch of cringe
That's
stuff.
a big. I mean, that's my stuff. I'm fine with like the announcements of like with Halo, Sonic, even Matrix, because those are video game related. I have no problem with those being there. Like if they did a random ad for fucking, I don't know, even like the next Marvel movie,
Right.
I'm like, this doesn't need to be there. But like the fact, like I'm fine with the movie stuff being there because it is video game related at least. That has been shown.
Right. But another portion of the thing that I thought that was kind of that I thought really was a letdown and stuff is there were a bunch of trailers that were showcased in the Game Awards, a lot of which were just cinematic trailers only, especially with Elden Ring as well in regards to the whole story aspect of it. This is a game that's supposed to be releasing in a couple months from now, and it would have been nice to see some gameplay in regards to the whole Game Awards
Yeah,
stuff.
but there was a whole beta test for that. Like I don't know, that it was weird that it was there, but it's like, yeah, we've seen a ton of that game in the last 3 months. Yeah, it's definitely a weird that they did a CGI trailer when it's coming out in like 2 months. But yeah, like
But
I don't know, that almost didn't even need to
but
be there more
but
than anything.
that was probably one of the most opportune times to show something fairly interesting other than a cinematic like 3D trailer when you have that many people looking at that game that they're already excited being one of the most anticipated games of that year. But
Yeah, like you said, that they're already excited
yes,
for it. So
yes,
I'm like,
yes.
Like you can only get so erect cables.
For a lot of those things, yes, I guess. But yeah, there was a lot, like I said before, a lot of trailers. There were just cinematic stuff only, hardly anything in terms of gameplay wise that the exception of maybe like a couple of games that I saw, like Suicide Squad had some good gameplay showage and stuff like that, but on top of that, then like the pacing of it, I thought the whole pacing of the entire show was very lopsided, fairly kind of weird. But gosh, trying to think of my train of thoughts right now because there were so many mixed emotions that I had during that stuff. Oh, honestly, what the fuck was it with like Sting in the first beginning part of that show? You know?
Because he does the song from Arcane, which is
Okay,
based off of the League of Legends, so it's game
okay,
related.
so that I understand
But
more so now and stuff. But yeah,
yeah,
yeah, you know what? The music performances were fairly solid, honestly, in the most part, except for that one
yeah,
Korean one that just felt very fucking creepy.
yeah. The Doki V. That just like that. I mean, I get why it was there. It was like, but it was weird. I didn't. We didn't
Dude,
need it.
I've
But
watched.
I don't know. Like I overall, I actually really like the Imagine
Yeah, the Imagine
Dragons one
Dragons
this
was
year. Like,
fine. Yeah,
because they actually had Super Giant Games, which I
yeah,
love their music. Darren Korb, who they sung Build a Wall from fucking Bastion, which is one of my all time favorite songs from any video game in history. Like, it's one of the few like video game songs I own. Like I bought on iTunes back in the day. Like I would listen to that song all. Oh, it's so
that's the
great.
thing. I
Is
thought a
that
lot of the music
lyrical?
performances were fairly good in that regards because they tied in
Yeah, I
mostly to
always
like the gaming stuff.
the game of yeah, like in the game of the year orchestra they do it at the end of every at the end is awesome every year. I wish they did more shit like that because that was awesome. But I mean, I understand why they can't. But like, I don't know. Like, oh, yeah. Like my biggest issue, like I said, I'm fine. The ads are there. Like I look on like commercials. Like I watch football. There's a bunch of commercials. Like, I love watching football. I'd rather have football than
Right,
not have football. And I understand I gotta watch a bunch of ads while watching football. That's fine. Same thing with this. Like I'd rather, like I said, I'd much rather have I'll sit there and sit through 45 minutes of ads for this show. For all the other stuff, I'm totally fine with it. I just find a better balance. I'm not saying like I understand you gotta get paid. Like I'm fine. Like I said, I'm fine with the Matrix being there. I just didn't need it. I didn't need to be at the end. I'm fine with the Halo TV series. Actually, that was kind of cool being there. And it's like I'm not even talking about like my personal opinions on the games that are shown there because there's a lot of cool games that are shown there that I'm definitely excited to play and I can't wait to play when they come down the line. Just like, but like you were talking about the Spike TV show. Like my biggest issue with the Spike TV shit back in the day was like they'd have like Karma Electra there and fucking Ice T. It's like these people don't play
yeah,
video games. They don't know what video games are. They're just there to get a payday, and get a free trip to fucking Las Vegas. And then they show up and they go on stage to do
well, yeah, I
present
see the
awards that they
example,
don't know
especially
anything
with Carmel
about.
Electra. I know Ice-T definitely has played his
Yeah,
fair share of like games in that regards too.
yeah, but I mean they're not but you
Yes,
know what I mean. They're
yes,
like
yes.
they just it's a TV show more than it's a Game Award
Right,
show. It's like but so it's like they get these D-list celebrities and then the D-list celebrities go up on stage and then make jokes and then make fun of gamers for the same 20 jokes you hear from gamers. That was my complaint years ago when they were doing it. Like when we first started doing the show, 8.5 years ago. Like I complained about them all the time. It was like, and even the first Jeff Keighley one he did before he did like a stage and everything like that. They did like it looked like in a fucking hallway. I think 2013 when they announced Cranky Kong was coming to Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. But like they would have like these celebrities come on, and I understand like that didn't play video games, and they come on and make jokes about and they like mock the audience. It's like, yeah, that's what we want. We're here to be made fun of for 3 hours for liking video games. That's over. It's gone now. I love this iteration since
right,
2014
right.
of
And this
this.
iteration, I feel
Um,
like, has
it's
contributed a lot positively in terms of the whole gaming industry in general.
yeah,
I mean, that's fairly true.
yeah, and like we're we're doing a lot of bitching. I understand, but it's like overall the show was. I still had a good time. Just that last hour dragged. I think it was just it probably been better off if like they moved some shit around more than anything. Because
That's the
like
thing.
I feel like it was so so
That's the
front
thing,
loaded was
Tyler.
the issue.
It's like they had some interesting announcements. There were some good games being shown, but what made this whole
Yeah,
experience terrible, in my honest opinion, was the pacing and the organization of how things could have been arranged in that regards. Because if they hadn't have
yeah,
made everything so top heavy and just spread everything else throughout, it wouldn't felt like a huge slog. If not most of the thing felt like it was so fucking boring that I was on my phone, like either on Twitter or not on Twitter, but on Instagram whatever, just checking out some stuff because a lot of the content, it honestly a lot of the game there were some plenty of game announcements that just did not ring resonant with me, and I was just on idle for a lot of that
Yeah,
stuff until the end.
yeah, yeah. Like I always watch them. It wasn't even like the two big things was like moves should have saved some of the big announcements in the middle and the end, and then more focus on the awards. Was like I'm not saying it needs to be a straight award show, but like at least maybe do like 10 different awards that actually get to go on the stage and actually cut to a video package of the awards. And when you do rapid fire giving out awards, you know, uh, say the nominees out loud. Don't just say and the winner is, and then boom and move on. But speaking of moving on, Gables, we need to move on because we are long in this podcast. So Gables and I have both been playing a game. He's busy real fast. We're gonna give a second. I'm gonna keep talking and talking and talking. He looks very serious right now. He's looking very serious. But yeah, I don't know. We'll move on here in a second. But yeah, I don't know. Like, we'll come right back. But like, I still love the show. I know we just spent 20 minutes pitching about it, but like, they're not like this isn't like this show is like a mess or needs to be totally like scrapped and redone and come back next year and like totally fix it. Like the bones are really good and really solid. Um, and I just feel like and we've seen several years in a row of like I think really good shows. And I feel like every year is getting better, and I just feel like this year was like I feel like I said every year it just kept getting better and better. The announcements got bigger and bigger, and they just like the flow of the show got better and better every year. And this was like the year where I felt like we kind of plateaued a little bit. So it's not over, it's not broken, just some tweaks. Maybe go back to the drawing board a little bit on some of these, but I feel like I think next year Jeff Keighley does a really good job of like he loves to go and like listen to podcasts and listen to people's critiques of the show, and I can't wait to hear what he says. Or what he takes out of this. I feel I feel like he does a good job of like he'll even talk about like he goes and listens to people's feedback and everything. So I can't wait till next year. And then like I'm still excited for next year. So but moving on, Gables, we both played Halo Infinite. I think you're a lot further ahead of me. I've beaten I've done a decent amount of side
Right.
stuff of like go around getting like the skill points. Um, but I did the opening part when you get before you get in the world. I did the tower and I just did the drill part. So I've done like the first like 3 missions. Um, but yeah, I mean I probably put like 4 or 5 hours
Alrighty.
into it. I mean, how much time do you think you put into it
All
to
right,
get there?
so I know for a fact that I'm on mission 7. I'm going to be starting mission 7 fairly soon. I've been going through and exploring a bunch of things, so I feel like I am around that point where I'm getting close to halfway through that game. I believe I've spent a good solid maybe 6 to 8 hours in this game in
Okay,
general. I decided to play it through a normal mode because I wanted to test,
that's what I'm doing.
because I want to at least have some form of a challenge, but like it's still kind of fairly easy in regards to having on normal from what I've experienced. I mean, with vehicles, especially when you're mowing down a bunch of like Banish and stuff like that, you're doing that shit. But yeah, I've played quite a bit of it. I'm liking the terrain, like the traversal of the overworld itself, because it feels so fun with Master Chief when you're using your grapple hook and you're going through and rushing across the
Yeah,
whole landscape. It's so much different in regards to using like certain vehicles and stuff where I don't even want to use the vehicles hardly at all. I want to go for
yeah, I never do. I almost
yeah,
never
because
do.
it's so quick
Yeah.
and easy to go up mountains and everything, go to your checkpoints quicker if you have the option to go and slink through with your grapple hook. Because that's the first thing I did when I wanted to max out like a specific point. So I've already maxed out that grapple hook, that grapple shot that they got.
Oh, okay. I maxed out my shield first, but I'm almost done with the grapple
Yeah, that's the
shot.
thing.
So
I went completely with the grapple hook like first, and then the shield's going to be the next that's going to be coming down the line. But I already have all of like the main module type of stuff for Master Chief set into place. So I think it's like 4 or 5 in general. So all of those.
yeah, I think there's four.
Yeah, I think there was 4.
I don't remember. There's five. There's
Okay, so
five.
yeah, I do believe I
Yeah,
have.
because I just got all of them.
Yeah, I just gotten the last one. I think it was like I want to say last night.
There's the yeah, because there's the grapple shot. There's the shield. There's the one that like you can shoot and it'll tell you where enemies
Right?
are. There's the little force field thing you put up, and then there's like the thruster one where
Yeah, that's the last one I
like
got.
you
It's the
can
one that does a bunch of the evading
yeah
stuff.
yeah
But yes, I purposely spent my time taking my time because I wanted to explore the terrain of the environment and go to liberate some bases, free a couple of like squads that need some help and stuff like that. Plus, do a lot of collecting. I have to admit, it feels entirely nice not to have an open world that's not so clustered with everything to fucking collect.
Oh my god, that was my big concern was like how Ubisoft is this game going to be, and then the answer is not at all.
That's good.
This is
It's fitting.
I yeah like yeah I mean it's an open world game, don't get
It's
me wrong, but it's like it
it's
doesn't feel
fairly
like
straightforward. Yeah.
like yeah like it definitely being like kind of an open world fatigue, especially like playing like most like going from Valhalla earlier this year to Far Cry 6 recently. I'm like putting like 10 hours in those and just like immediately like no, I'm good on these. Um, yeah, like I'm with you. Like the open world feels great. Like I love just like you take over an FOB and it shows you everything in that area, and like there's a good amount of stuff there, but it's not too much
No.
stuff there, and it's like oh okay I can knock all this shit out like in like really fast. And it's like I'm having fun. Like it's not overly crazy to take that shit over. There's the keeps that are kind of that take some time to take over,
Right.
um, but like the FOBs like it's literally like a stand. There's like a dozen enemies. Um, like I don't know, like have you done the ones where you have to like fight like a tougher
Yes,
enemy?
exactly. Yes, I've done plenty of
Uh,
those now.
yeah, those are a
Because
fucking
those are a
blast.
blast because I
Yeah,
think I've gone through about three of them, and then at the end you get like
I
a
think I've
specific
done the same.
a reward in regards to a
Yeah,
specific modified weapon from the Banished itself.
yep, and you can unlock it at
I
any
think it's
point in time.
interesting to where you find the cluster, you find that specific spot or some, and then you can go and attack these various leaders of these core groups. And it's kind of funny how they say, "Oh, this dude said something like crazy ass shit and stuff like this." And, it's like they've gone through this entire army or something
Yeah,
like that by themselves and do this and that, and all of a sudden it just takes like a couple of swift like sword shots or something to take out some of them, and it's funny.
yeah.
Oh, but what?
One of them was like one of them was really awesome. Sorry, to cut you off there, but like where it's like oh, this is like the weapon who's like your Cortana replacement in this one. Uh, she's like oh, this one there's some crazy stories about this guy. Yeah, and like you can read about it in your there's in your log or whatever, and you get there and it's a fucking grunt. Like it's like the main, and I took him out with like a normal shot. It's like
Yeah,
it's like oh my
yeah,
god,
it
and
was
like
fairly
can we
straightforward.
just talk about the grunts for a minute? I want to talk about the grunts. They're the fucking best.
Yeah,
They're the best enemies in gaming history. I they have made me laugh no less than a
their
dozen times.
banter is actually
And just what I
pretty
played so far.
funny to listen to.
Yeah. It's like strategic running away. Like fucking one of them I grapple shotted and I was I hooked to him and I was just coming for him and I was gonna melee kill him and he started going no 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 and fucking just meleeed him and he died. Oh my god, they're fucking and like when they do kill you, one I got killed by a grunt. I'm not happy to say it, but I got killed by a grunt. Really, I got killed by a bunch of enemies and the grunt just got the last shot. And he's like, he killed me. He's like, aha, the grunts rule again. And like, it's fucking hilarious. I love them. The fact that's how like they've always spoke like some broken
Yep.
English, and now they just straight up speak English, and it's the best decision they've ever made. Or like all the enemies do, but like the grunts are just the fucking best. Like their banter, just like let's assume talk is fucking awesome. Like one of them they thought like I had like I was like grapple shotting around and like they lost track of me and there's like three grunts and they were like oh he ran away, we scared him off, and they started like celebrating that they thought they scared me off, and then I turned around and I fucking started shooting him. I'm like oh he's back. And I fucking killed him. I love anytime I fight the grunts, it's just the best. One because they're easy kills, but two they're fucking hilarious. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you use, but I love them.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I've come across quite a few encounters in regards to the Banished to where I've noticed all these various banter from the grunts, from the freaking brutes, from the elites and stuff to where even like the bit of the snipers and stuff. Oh my gosh, where they're the shields. It's like I think one of them was like my shield's down. It's like loss imminent. It's some shit like that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like when you kill the ones with the shields, and like my shield's down, I can't fight, and they start trying to run away. Oh, it's the best. It's the best.
The enemy types too,
Oh man.
actually the AI is pretty precise with some of the stuff because even with the snipers, I've come across a couple of kills to where I have tried to evade stuff, right? And all of a sudden I get hit twice with this fucking sniper shot, like across the
Mhm.
friggin' way, and I get killed. Like, oh my god, dude! It's like
Yeah.
I know my shields are not that strong and not completely maxed, but holy shit!
That's why I max them out. Even when they max them out like 4 shots, you're dead.
Yeah,
So if you get in an area where there's a bunch of snipers, you can get fucked up really
yeah,
fast.
that's something I noticed. That's part of the reason why I decided when I fully upgraded the grapple hook, I was gonna go forth on a terrain like a Just Cause shit, so I could just zoom across one thing or another. But I think it's hilarious what you can actually grapple into and stuff because I've done a clearing out of the base where I've grappled a freaking ghost and stuff, and I knocked someone out of the fucking vehicle and stole
Yeah,
that. And if
it's the best.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's so funny when you're grappling not just the grunts, but like all the other enemies and stuff. You just shock them or some shit, and all of a sudden you just go just punch them in the face or go with a shotgun to the face, or like or even some regards, it's like you can actually God, you could use them to tether onto some other spot, just to get away. But the more
Yeah.
annoying ones I've come across were the brutes that had some. There was like one that had this big old like formal like a headdress and stuff like that. That usually has those freaking beam
Yeah.
cannons and
They're
stuff.
they're a bitch. Mm.
Also the bitch is well the two berserkers brutes and stuff that try to go for it.
The ones that charge
Yes,
you.
those ones are a pain in the ass because
Yeah.
here I am trying to escape and all of a sudden try to dodge a sniper with two things rushing in front of me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. No, yeah, those ones will, yeah. Like this one, obviously being open world, so you're jumping in, you're fighting more enemies randomly, but like it's definitely a lot more difficult than uh the other ones, the other Halo games for me, for sure. I'm dying a lot, but it's not like a frustrating like oh this is bullshit hard, but it's like definitely like it's definitely challenging at points. You can get overwhelmed, surprisingly for being the Master Chief, but like it's not like a bad overwhelmed, but like just learn how better to attack situations and stuff like that. But yeah, this game's a fucking
let
just
me ask
fun
you
as
though,
shit.
have you
Like
found a skull yet?
I have not found a skull. I heard there's 8 of them, and I heard they're incredibly hard to
Oh,
find. But
I came across one by accident. Because here's what happened.
yeah,
I was grappling hook towards the beginning portion of the game, and I go up this one this one elevator thing this platform that lift me up to the side frame, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm right in the middle of the room. It's like, have I glitched through this thing or something? And I go in a far end, and I find a fucking skull. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't
yeah.
intend that at
I
all.
yeah. I just heard they're super fucking hard to find and like pretty random on where they can be. So that's awesome you found one because like I have like I'll go down these like corridors where there's like well I have no like like after two plus decades of playing video games like this random corridor over here there's almost always something over there and you go over there it's like oh there's just nothing here like I've done that a lot in this game where I'm like oh that door opens over
But
there but I don't need
it was the most like it was one of the most least likeliest spots that you could have possibly imagined because you go through this corridor, right, and there's these little briefs of like these little miniature platforms that are going up, cycling upwards and stuff like that. And it only happened to me like grappling one of the side walls and all of a sudden be propelled up against into one of those vents where I actually found one. So it's like the attention to
yeah
detail you have to go and have in order to try to find some of those skulls, that's difficult. It's almost like oh, necessarily like Halo 3 when you had like certain skulls and stuff that were. I loved those back then. Oh, those were fun,
yeah
especially the Grim Birthday Party one. Yay!
yeah but yeah this game is awesome I'm loving it like now like I'm still early on but I feel like I'm gonna be putting a lot of time in this one so
Yeah, I've enjoyed a lot of my moments playing this game when I've had the chance. I mean, it's that type of open world game where it's like, okay, I could blaze through a couple of these missions or something like in a like 15-30 minute span, and that's what I did some mornings this
yeah
week where, oh, okay, let's play a little bit of Halo Infinite, go through that. Okay, I've freed up this base, I've collected this Spartan token, and I've gone through and got some more
yeah
skins for multiplayer, and now I'm gonna go to this area. And while on the way, you have
yeah
your Katana 2 quintessentially telling you, it's like, hey, It's like, I'm fairly curious about searching this point right here. It's like, oh no, I'm going this way.
Yeah. Oh man, I love the weapon. She's
Yeah, she
awesome in this
is
game. She's
awesome.
like, she's fucking hilarious. I love her. Like she's just overly perky and happy, um, and just doesn't understand how the world works. Um, and I love her for it. And like, just she's made me laugh multiple times. Where she's like, "All right, yeah, we did it." She's like, "Well, you did it, but I was there." Like she's making she's fucking she's pretty funny. I
I
love
love
her.
how this
She's
one portion stuff that's like something like that, and like you're in battle and stuff like that. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't get you out of there quicker and stuff. It's like, hey, you got us out both alive. Like, okay.
yeah. I just got to that part. That was the mission I just finished. But yeah, like I agree. Yeah, she's oh man. She's great. She's easily the best character in Halo to me already. So I can't wait to like every interaction I have with her is always the best. So I'm loving this game.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get back to playing more of it. Um, I'm gonna try to get up before football starts tomorrow, up at a decent time, so I can finally have a chance to sit down and just play it for more than just like I've been trying to play it in like hour chunk, 45-minute chunks. So hopefully tomorrow I can sit down and just play it for a good 2-3 hours straight with no distractions.
right.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing. Gables, anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I played a bit of Deathloop. So I
Oh, okay,
did
cool.
play a little bit more of Deathloop. I did get like a couple of hours and stuff into that game. Yeah, it's fairly interesting in regards to the whole gameplay mechanic aspect of it, to where that whole element of like you going through a specific portion, then dying, then going through again, and in that regards, it's like I had some moments and stuff where I haven't even gotten out any of those stuff. The main like the eight and stuff in general. But
Mm,
what I have done is I've gone through some bits of the first couple of islands and stuff, like for the story elements, right? To where I think I've passed like maybe the third or fourth portion to where I needed to go and like secure a couple things as cult and stuff, and do like a bunch of different forays and stuff, and like get a couple of dishes and like new weapons, and then losing them when I initially got killed. I got that whole rewind feature and stuff to where I die twice, and the third time and stuff, it zooms me back and this and that. I do like that aspect to where it's more structured chapter wise, to where you can get your objective stuff complete, and then all of a sudden you can go all the way back and stuff, and it just gets you to this like this mission complete sort of thing, and then it goes into the next portion of it. I like that structure of it. But I did come across a random game crash when I was in the heat of a firefight and
yeah,
stuff, and all of a
I had a couple
sudden,
of those.
and all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, the PS5 does not like this seat right now, and all of a sudden just crashed. It's like, well, shit, this is gonna be a bit before I play this game again. But I'm liking what I'm playing so
Yeah,
far. There is definitely some interesting weapons. There's definitely some interesting story elements going on between Colt and like the main antagonist so far, and it's fairly interesting, and I do want to play some more of that. But right now, because I
yeah,
started Halo Infinite and stuff, and I'm now knee deep in that, I want to play that.
that's my prime focus for probably the rest of the year. That's probably gonna be the game I play before we get to our game of the year list. So
Yep.
yeah, but I think that will wrap it up for us, Gables. Other than that, um, so thank you guys so much for listening. If you like the show, please like, follow, subscribe everywhere. We're on Twitter, iTunes, wherever pods are cast. We're on them. Facebook, YouTube, all those places. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. The more you do that, the more it helps us out. Leave comments, all that. Tell your friends. The more you do that stuff, the more it helps us out. Um, but I was
And
Tyler.
I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and the jazz. But most importantly of all that, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Nerds podcast.
And hey,
Yeah,
Gables, too sweet.
too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.